Okay, welcome back to Tactical Air Rifleman. Today I'm going to talk about my AK74 UM build. Now it's a gas operated semi-automatic magazine fed rifle. It uses one CO2 12 gram capsule that goes in there, and the ammunition, this is 4.5mm ball bearing goes in here. It's spring loaded and it takes 18 ball bearing. Get about 3 magazines worth from the gas. The rifle itself is the Brothers in Arms series, and I bought it actually from Brothers in Arms in Christchurch for £250. And it's a very, very good copy of the AK74U. They call it the UM. It's got lots of different names. I think it came out in the mid-70s. Very, very good copy. Feels like it. It came with the wood furniture, but obviously I've done a build on it, and I do like this rifle. Right, starting from the top, I put a 5.51 scope on there. The reason I went for a 5.51 is because it looks Russian, to be quite honest. I mean, I put a 5.58 on to start with, but like most Russian bits of kit, this looks very basic, and I actually like it. It does suit the rifle. Now, on my other rifle, which is a AK101, I've fitted a 5.52. I've also got a G43 magnifier on that one as well. But the 5.52 actually does look very good on an AK, and they look very similar to the new scope that the Russians have brought out since the Ukrainian war, which is a 1P87, which is a red dot. Basically ripping off EATAC, but it's not holographic, it's a red dot, and it looks very similar to that sight and this sight. So that's what I went for, 5.51 on this. I got this from eBay, and it cost me £31. I've since found cheaper ones on Amazon for £24. These have been around for a little while, so you can shop around for these. For the actual sight mount, as you can see, it's side mounted like most older Russian rifles. The reason they side mounted it is because, unlike Western rifles, which have an upper and lower receiver, and the upper receiver obviously is a very steady platform for a rail and a sight, with AKs, obviously the top receiver, the slide comes out if you want to actually strip the weapon down. So obviously it's not a steady platform, which is why they made it side mounted. Now, if you've not actually seen actual side mounted rails before, I'll just move that forward slightly. When you first see them, like myself, I didn't know what this was all about. It looks a bit strange because obviously we're in the West used to just straight rails, whereas that does look to the untrained eye a bit odd. Typically Russians, they might be slightly different. The actual rail section itself is just this section here, and that corresponds to the fitting to this section here. That's the actual rail. The rest of it just holds it in place. Now, when you actually get it with the instructions, if you've never used one of these before, it's a bit confusing, but all you literally have to do is push down here with a screwdriver, and you can just adjust the screw here to actually get the right fitting. And then once it's all in place, it's a little bit of fiddly, just to slide it on, and it locks into place, just like so. Now, when I bought this rail, it was the first rail I've ever bought for an AK. I wasn't quite sure, so I actually bought the wrong one. Obviously, because this is a shorter rifle, with the 74, you've got a longer section from here to here, so any rail will fit. But because this is a shorter one, you've got the iron sight. My actual rail was too long. The top section, the Pitakini, was too long. So I just cut it down. It was aluminium. It took 10 minutes. I cut it down with a hacksaw and painted it black, and it worked fine. I got this particular rail from Amazon. It cost me £16.90. But say it was the wrong one, but so I just cut it down and it fitted fine. Since then, I've actually found the correct rail for this rifle, and I've seen it for sale on Amazon for £31.99. Now that's for an actual AKS 74. So that's with the actual correct length of Picatinny. You don't have to cut it down. But if you wanted half price, which is the one I got, 10 minutes with a hacksaw, cut it down, and it works fine. Moving forward, I've got a Picatinny rail attachment that goes on to the iron sight. The reason I got this is obviously this is a folding buttstock, but if you fit the rail, it won't fold. However, if I wanted to mount the sight further forward, remove the rail, then I can fold it. These, you can get these anywhere. I think I got this off Amazon for about £13, but you can get them all over the place, and they're just literally 2 Allen keys, it clamps on. Moving underneath the rifle, unfortunately, the pistol grip cannot be changed. Unlike my Crossman's, where it just drops out. Because this isn't a blowback rifle, and the working parts don't go back to the rear, the way they've constructed it is the actual trigger is part of the pistol grip. So unlike normal AKs, it just drops out one screw and it's flat there, and you can swap in another pistol grip. This one you can't, unfortunately. It's a bit annoying. I mean, it's the bog standard pistol grip you get, so it's fine, but I would have liked another pistol grip. Moving forward, handguard. Now I'll just remove my torch so you can actually see what I've fitted here. Now I've just swapped out the lower handguard. It was wood like the top section, but I wanted to mount some toys on it. So I've got that's basically a copy of a Zenitech B11. They came out a few years ago, made in Russia for live AKs. They're quite expensive. Now I wasn't sure what to actually get for this rifle because I looked online and there's dozens and dozens of different versions of this, and some of them aren't the same size as the rifle, so I wanted to get something that I knew would fit this rifle. So I found this one, and this was on, let me just check my notes here, this was on 6mm, and it's a CNC lower handguard. 6mm is a very good sight. It does airsoft and stuff for live rifles as well. And this was £43 before shipping. It was £53 with shipping, but it fitted straight in. So it was a bit more expensive than I wanted to pay. As I say, if you go on the sites, you get about 25 quid, but you're not sure if it's going to fit the rifle. Very, very easy to fit. You take the top guard off first, and that comes off when you raise the top cover. You have to actually loosen the front sight. Now all it is an Allen key underneath. You turn it around, move it forward, and then there's a little switch inside. You move forward with a screwdriver, the whole section moves forwards. You can then remove the lower handguard, and this one fitted straight in. When I started to do up the front section, it was still a bit loose, but when I replaced the top cover, the top section of the handguard, it was fine. And I say it's aluminium, it's really good actually. And you've got underneath and to the side Picatinny rails. Let me just replace my torch. 1 second. And as I say, I got that 6mm, £43 before shipping, and after shipping it's 53. It comes from Hong Kong, so it took about 3 weeks to arrive, but I am very impressed with that. So with the lower handguard, I fitted a horizontal foregrip. Now I've just gone for a bog standard one. I think this cost me £12 from Crawley Arms, Crawley Surplus in Crawley, which is an online and very good shop. I've got a squirrel behind me there, wanting to get rifles as well. I could have gone for a more jazzy one of these, but because it's a Russian rifle, I've seen online they go for more sort of basic ones. So I didn't want to get a bipod one this time round, like for my other rifles, so I just went for a bog standard one. And as I say, that was about £12. You can get ones with that fold over as well. I see they look quite jazzy, but that suits me fine. This side mounted a Surefire tactical torch rip-off. Basically, the original ones of these, Surefire, being a big American company that sells to the firearms industry, a couple of £100. This wasn't. This was, I believe, let me just check my notes here. This was, where are we? $47.99 from eBay. I've seen them cheaper. I think AliExpress do them for about £37. You can start with a tactical torch from £15 upwards, but I wanted this particular model. I've used this on my other rifles as well, so I was prepared to pay a bit more. It does come with a remote switch on a bit of wire. Get rid of that, and I'll talk about how it works later. On the other side, I've got a PEQ 15 laser. Let me just move this across. Now, why have a laser on an air rifle? Because it's a bit of fun, just like the torch. It looks good because I wanted to make this into a special forces rifle. If you're doing airsoft, it's useful, but also if you want to do a bit more fun shooting, takes it up the notch. You turn the sights off, just put the green dot, red or green dot, and where that lands, you can take out the target. This one is a copy of a more expensive one. This is plastic. They do come metal. If you want the live version, this is several £100s. This one was £41.99 from eBay, and it came within about a week. Now, when you order these, be aware they do dummy copies for reenactors, so make sure when you order it, you actually get the right one. Some of the other ones I've bought previously were only red or green. This one, actually, funny enough, is red and green dots, so I've got a choice of two. And it's very easy, if you've never used one of these before, to zero. Once a sight zero, exactly the same. You switch your sight on, and then you do elevation and deflection to zero in to your sight. Be aware, it is a laser, can be used as a weapon, so don't point it into people's eyes because it could cause a problem. This also comes with a remote switch on a bit of wire. Get rid of that. Now, previous rifles, I've used augmented switches, which are remote switches, which I fit on Picatinny to actually activate the devices. On this one, this rifle, I didn't want to mount it on the top, so I thought I'd go slightly differently. Both the torch and the sight come with their own switches, so I don't need to use a switch at all. As you can see, I can turn that on and off just by doing that, and I'll just switch this on as well. Bear with me. And again, with a laser, I can do it from there. So a lot easier to do, a lot quicker, less hassle. I do recommend both the laser and the torch. It doesn't add a lot to the weight at all, and it does a lot of business. For my sling attachment, now the rear sling attachment on this is the Russian one, which not exactly brilliant, not very tactical, but once you've got the sling attached, it doesn't move if you're actually using a sling, so that's fine. If you're not using a sling, just take that up, less tactical. My front sling attachment, now the actual sling attachment that's fitted is actually located here, so if you're going to fit a device on the side, you can't get to it, so I just fitted my own, and I just move that bit forward. There you go. It's a very slimline one. It cost me £8 on eBay. AliExpress do them, lots of the Xbox shops do them as well. Moving forward, I've got a suppressor. Now it does come with a very jazzy, it's not a flash illuminator or muzzle brake, but that's what the rifle comes with. And the reason it's such a strange shape is because the rifle is so short, the live rifle, when you fired it, doesn't generate enough gas to recycle the bolt, so the bolt doesn't go back because it's a shorter rifle. So that's why they've got this section, which is strange looking, that sends the gas back. Now this is a PBS4 suppressor silencer. Obviously this is a dummy one, but it's designed specifically for this rifle. And again, it's got a strange cup at the end, you can see, and so that recycles the bolt. Now, unlike Western silencers, the actual screw for this is 25mm. On most of my other rifles, it's 40mm counterclockwise. This one and most Russian rifles are 25mm clockwise. So when you're buying it, 25mm CW. They do come with an adapter inside, just a screw, so you can fit it to 14mm counterclockwise as well, and that just screws out. Now, I looked around, there's a few of these on the market. I found this one on 6mm for £43. It was cheaper before shipping. I think it was £24 before shipping, because again, it comes from Hong Kong, but in total £43, and it came in about 3 weeks. When I first saw it, I thought it's a bit strange looking. I don't like that, but I'll try it. Since then, I've used it. I really do like it, and it does actually work as a suppressor. It really does reduce the sound of the weapon firing. When you fire it with a normal muzzle brake, it's actually quite loud. So that's quite good actually. But you put the suppressor on, and it does work, and it's very cool sound. You can get other suppressors for this as well. This is the PBS1. This is the longer version. They do two. The shorter ones are about an inch shorter. Again, 25 millimeters clockwise screw, and again this does come with an adapter for 14 millimeter CCW if you want to fit it on other rifles. I won't put it on, but it's slightly shorter, looks more like a conventional silencer, but quite chunkier. And this does look good on the rifle as well. I've got this one, Patrol Base, $39.99. There are cheaper options around. I think Bullseye do it for $33.99. 6mm do it for £30, but then again, you're going to have your shipping costs on top of that. So you can sort of shop around, and again, looks more like a conventional sight. But this is my current favourite at the moment. I hope you find this useful. Any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. And as usual, I'll list all the various accessories that I've got and where I've got them from. Thank you.